Hello, everyone. This is Roshan. Thank you for joining. Let's. Hello, everyone. This is Roshan. Thank you for joining. And this is our fourth webinar as we have been doing this for last few months, and we have received wonderful response from each of you who have been participating in several of these webinars with us, along with being involved in InsuredMine as a product, as well as being able to support us in everything we are doing. So we'll take a couple quick minutes and let people join the webinar, and then we will get it going. As we continue to talk about today's topic, which is very interesting, as several of you has been asking us about. Tell us more about our program with Chatbot, as well as what it is all about. What is the whole conversation around Chatbot, and how some of these agencies are using it, and how they are able to leverage some of the work that has been happening around on the Chatbot. So today we're gonna dive deeper into what Chatbot has been deployed in insurance space, in industry per se, as well as how independent agents can use it. And we'll also talk about 21 use cases today, how those chatbots are being deployed, and you can use it in your business today. So let me quickly start with the presentation. Awesome. So as we are all well aware of the topic today, why you need a chatbot, and this is primarily focused on independent agents. Though we do see a much wider need and ask about insurance agents, as well as captive agents, carriers, and industry per se. Everybody is focused on why chatbot is becoming so interesting. But first thing first, let me introduce our um, panel here. So we are two speakers along with me, Roshan, who is the CEO and co-founder of InsuredMine. We will have Kapil Yadav, and it's a pure delight to have him on the call with us, as he has been the brain behind InsuredMine Via, which is a virtual insurance assistant, a chatbot that we have deployed and has been very successful in helping independent agents. So some of the things what we have been working on with our chatbot, which we will talk in a detail, or probably will touch base around 5 to 10 use cases, and also talk about in details what are the other use cases of these chatbot that can be used. And maybe, but before we start running and flying, we need to learn how to walk and crawl, and we will be talking about some of those. So while we jump into this here, so let me start with some basic questions, which is what is a chatbot? So according to Oxford Dictionary, a chatbot is a computer program designed to simulate conversations with human users, especially over the internet. So as we split the word chatbot, it's a communication, it's a messaging tool, and bot is basically a short word for robot. So you are chatting with a robot. And so it becomes interesting to see and hear when we are talking with a robot, what kind of conversations we can have. Is it simple conversations, or it can be really adaptive to as if talking to a human. So when we look into the types of the chatbot, there are basically two levels, and the spectrum is pretty wide. It starts with, you can say, a simple chatbot, pre-programmed expected results, simple questions, or it can be a very smart chatbot, which is AI driven, where artificial intelligence, it understands the way you and I communicate, which is the NLP, natural language processing. It is also adaptable and trainable, which means it is you can train the bot to act, behave. I mean, in terms of communication, how it communicates in a particular way, and what kind of responses are expected from the bot. Um, and then it's also very interesting, as you would hear from most of these bots, that you don't have to be a geek to understand or talk in terms of how a computer needs to be spoken with, which is some kind of a programming language. No, it is not required. When you're talking to a bot, it can be a natural language. So when I say to a bot, "Hey, how are you doing?" there is nothing geeky about it, but it will respond. And I'm sure all of you are aware, and in some form or shape, your life is being touched by some kind of a chatbot. And a form of that chatbot or AI communication tool is Alexa. It's Google Home, or Google, okay Google, or using Siri on your app. So things like that is which is making our life pretty interesting. Which is making it pretty interesting to communicate. So, having said that, let's look into what they can do. They help improve customer service, streamline business process, um, personalize communication, or improve a response rate. Automate some of the repetitive tasks. So these are very basic things to do, but some of the more sophisticated and complicated things are also being accomplished today by using a chatbot. And we will talk in length about what some of these initiatives are. But let's look at some of the common, or the carrier driven chatbots that you may have heard or you have seen it in usage. And I'm sure a lot of you are aware of uh, Lemonade, and the recent brawl we had seen with Lemonade and the State Farm. I'm sure most of you are aware of it. But to talk in a much larger context, we have seen deployment of chatbot by almost every carrier, every large carrier today. Either they already have a chatbot, or they are in the process of developing one. So it is so natural that we see that most of these communications are heading in that direction. And so one of the questions that I receive very often is, will chatbot replace agents? Well, my positioning has been very clear on this, and the more and more I research and study about this, I am convinced of the idea that chatbot is going to augment our independent agent or agent at large. I don't think it is going to replace the agent. It is going to enhance their capabilities to do more with less. It will take away the burden of high frequency, low value activities, and leave the agent with being able to do the high value, low frequency events, or be able to exchange, communicate with the customers for some of those very specific things. So I want to share some of the numbers and from some of the reports we have seen, and it is very interesting to look at some of these facts and data. As you can see, this is, I think, is the most appealing number to me, has been the 69% of the customers prefer chatbot for quick communication. And that when I thought about that, it was counterintuitive. I would have thought, who would have thought 7 out of 10 guys would be comfortable or prefer a communication with a chatbot. But when you peel that communication a couple layers deep, you understand that the best way of communication is chatbot to start with, because it sets you up to have that conversation. It brings all the basic information that is needed, and then when you're ready, probably it helps off take the off burden of some of the primary communications needed, whether it's about basic information. Second number, which is equally interesting to me, is 30%. 30% of customer service calls can be answered by chatbot. And it is interesting, if you are able to chunk off one third of your need of having a person to answer or respond to a customer service call, that is significant, and that leads to our other 30%, which is it leads to a reduction in the customer service cost by 30%. And this has been reflected in the Q2 reports of the Forrester's new wave conversational computing. So it's not only about reducing cost, it's it's comprehensively about increasing customer experience, because now the other number which is equally compelling is the 18% increase in the sales. So you are reducing cost and increasing the value by increasing sales. So I believe that that is a very compelling business case for each of us on this call to understand how it is helping the industry per se, as well as individuals, to bring in more business. Um, let's talk about some of the potential benefits of chatbots, specifically in insurance. As we all understand, hands down, that it's a 24 hours communication. It's like you have an extended office hours for your clients. You are able to answer question which they need probably around middle of the night, because now the kids are sleeping and now they are trying to do some of the work around insurance, or able to get some instant response in terms of, hey, when do I need to make my next payment, when is my next payment due, or things like that. When is do I have a boat policy, I may have bought it, I don't remember, but if it is right there, I'm able to pull those informations. So things like that, or even just something to get a detailed conversation with an expert. You may not be able to connect with the expert immediately or to your agent, but through the bot you are able to set that expectation, do some initial conversation with the bot, and push that information to your agent, so he's well prepared of what you need to answer. So there are a lot of basic but good advantage of having bot in your ecosystem of customer service. So this number is interestingly very surprising to me. Is, as I said, 34% of the customers see chatbot helping in finding a human service assistance. And this also circles back to the initial conversation about, will chatbot replace an agent? The answer is no. And this is one of the factors. It is augmenting, it is helping you get better information and connecting you to that agent rather than taking you away from the agent. It is just that consumers are also starting to see that it is just a faster way to connect with your agents or other customer service representatives. So this is the most common question I have heard in the last probably several months from several of you. So how can I use a chatbot in my agency? And as I said earlier in our call, we will be walking through some of those use cases to see which one is applicable in your agency, because every agency is different. But before we go there, I also want to quickly touch upon, as we have been a pretty strong advocate of saying that there is a need for that last mile connectivity with your customers, with your clients, to say the least. And the reason being, right now it is more of a push information, which is you communicate with them, give information to them, and you just expect them to be able to understand all that information and be able to make sense of it and be happy with it, rather than, it is a two-way communication. And it's, as much as it is a push, it needs to be pull, which means, you got to have tools, applications that will allow you to have the two-way communication, omni-channel, and be able to do that at a convenience of each other. So nothing better than a mobile app to help you experience, as a customer as well as an agent, be able to connect. So that's why we strongly believe in the whole idea of having a mobile app, because it's a last mile connectivity with your clients. But now, the extension to that last mile connectivity is the last mile automation, which is not only now you're connecting with your customers, you are also automating a lot of those communications. And I think that's a big step forward in terms of how we perceive customer service, and to an extent, a customer experience overall.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everybody. I am Kapil Yadav, working as a chatbot developer in InsuredMine. And it's my absolute pleasure to welcome you to InsuredMine webinar about chatbot and how agents can make most of it. The purpose of this session is to highlight to the key areas in which insurance agents can improve their customer engagement and getting closer to their customers and have hassle-free communication with customers. I'd like to start by thanking all those who have joined us this afternoon, and of course, a big thank you to Roshan for giving me this opportunity to talk about chatbots. Now, let's move to the mobile screen. So, are you able to see my screen?
No, not really, Kapil.
Okay, give me a second.
And I believe I made the same mistake. Once you share your screen, there is a button on the top which says broadcast, or start your sharing, something like that. Yep. Now it's there. Yep, it was there. Yep. Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. So, I would like to start uh, with the with the first application of this chatbot, which is the information about the active policies. So let me click on that. So when insured want to see their active policy information, he has not to search it into the application. He just go to the VI chatbot and ask for that question, and then we ask for the category, and that helps the insured to reduce the time of searching by n times, where n is the total number of categories for which insured has policies. For example, insured has policies for the auto, flood, and homeowners. So if he is going to search all those policies and find out the required one, it took some time. So bot is smart enough to ask the category, and we click on the auto one. I think there may be some internet issue with my mobile.
Yeah, no, that's totally fine. So it did pull the policy
Yeah,
back on the current policy, which is,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it shows the active policy, and when we click on it, it will redirect us to the whole detail of that policy.
Yeah. So this is basically how, as easy as this it is, that a client is able to pull his policy on his mobile app without trying to navigate where the policy may be, just by engaging with the chatbot to have his policy handy right in front of him. So now, do you want to show how to pull a policy
I'm
document?
moving to the yeah, I'm moving to the policy documents.
Okay.
So let me write it down here.
So another thing, just while Kapil is typing, is, as you can see, there is a good amount of prompt coming out, which is you can select some of these other options, if you're looking at what other questions that may be out of that. So he typed in policy doc, and the categories were flood and auto. because those were the two policy documents he had in his system. And the moment he typed in auto, it pulled the Geico policy insurance card. So that was pretty quick.
And it also, yeah, and it also provide you the functionality to share this document.
Hmm.
So here you can see all the options so that you can share it to
Awesome.
whom it concerns. And when you click it on, you can see the whole policy. You can maximize it. So along with the policy, it is mandatory that the insured must know when he is going to pay his premium due. So for that, our automated system send the push notification to the insured time to time so that they cannot miss their payment. So let's suppose Alex, which is the insured, has got the push notification from InsuredMine that your premium due date is after 5 days. Now he don't know where he has to pay his premium amount. So there is an option in Agent 360 profile where it says, let's move it to the 360 profile of the agent. Six options, which is handled automated in an automated way. So for example, he want to pay his premium amount, he can select the last option, which is premium payment. And let's say get started.
Hmm.
The we are handle all those things with itself and ask for the category of the policy. So let's say I don't know the categories, so it pull out all the policies and then let's say select the first one. The due date is for the first one. So so the VR knows the information about the carriers, the information like the payment details for the claim details. So it pull out the website as well as the call details for that carrier. And if I click on the website, then it will directly redirect to that payment website.
Awesome. So just to add a couple more context to this here, and thanks, Kapil. So at this point, what we have done here is brought that payment integration to a point where it is kind of associated with the website of the carrier. But our vision is eventually is to align the payment that just by clicking, instead of clicking the website or the call, you click on pay and the payment is taken care. So something like when you are making a payment on an Amazon or any other web products. So we are working towards it. That is another thing we are it's in our pipeline. But at least for the moment, what this does is you don't have to think where is the payment link, which carrier am I looking at. You just click call or website and it is able to take care of your insurance payment. Go ahead, Kapil.
Yeah. So it also provide you the overall chart of the premium according to the categories, like how much money is going in which category for the insurance payment. So for that, it is providing all the data according to the categories. And it also asks, like, do we have covered all the categories for premium distribution? For example, there are some categories or the some policies which you have not added so far. So you can add it from here. So for now, I'm going with the yes, I'm good part. I don't want to add any more policies. I've already added all my policies here.
Yeah. So, just one quick interjection here. So, one of the ideas here, especially for independent agents to look through this, is it is amazing how your clients will be able to benefit from it, but it is also very interesting is to look at the smart prompt that chatbot is making on your behalf to gather more information, which would have typically taken a phone call or a meeting with the client to get that information. But the goal here is if we can connect and be smart about what additional information we need from the customers, we are able to bring that in by using these smart prompts via the chatbot. And what Kapil is scrolling at the bottom are some of those additional smart prompts available, whether it's about asking for my risk scores or premium distribution or about policies.
Yeah, so next thing I want to prompt here is my risk score.
All right.
So basically, it's asked you for your address, age, and gender. And on the basis of this result, it provides several results. It it will risk analysis of your address, which are like the earthquake risk analysis, super fund crime risk analysis, so that you know about what are the risk is at your property, and so that according to that you can uh, buy insurances,
Yeah.
and you can
Uh,
save your for the future risk.
Absolutely. And to add to that, couple, one of the things, so this is not only interesting to the policy holders because now they understand the risk profile of their property, but it also gives a very good data insight to the agents as well as to the carriers that they want to get their policies from, because this is good set of information. And this also speaks about InsuredMine's product and its adaptability and integration with several other products out there in insurtech space. So this is a pure work of API integration with Hazard Hub, which is, I'm sure several of you have heard about them. They are doing a wonderful job in terms of bringing a lot of data together. So this is just, as you can see, how seamlessly we have been able to integrate with them. So a big shout out to them being able to integrate some of these product features.
So the next thing I want to show is, which is one of the most important model of this chatbot, because it helps you uh, to to upsell your product to the customer, which is getting quotes from them. So whenever insured need or they want to know about the quotes about their home and auto, they can just write it here. They need quotes or I want get quotes.
Hmm.
So chatbot asks like for which category you are looking for. Currently, we are handling these two categories, and we have a future plan to add more. So let's say uh, want to get auto quotes. So we ask like they want for existing vehicle, which creates a cross sell opportunity for the agent, or need quotes for the new vehicle. So let's say I want to go with the new vehicle. So we ask for the model name. Let's say BMW 2. So it will ask for the year, for which year it was made, and I select 2016. And then it will ask for the VIN number, and it also asks for the type of ownership. So last question, which is about how many miles it traveled. Let's say it is around. Would you like to see your details in your profile for future reference? So we are cares about your preferences, so that you don't need to add same details again and again. So it saves your time.
Mhm. So,
So
if
I
I
say
may
yes.
add here, Kapil, one quick thing. So, the
Yeah.
goal here is multiple fold. One is not only creating a request for code that goes directly to your agent. By the way, Jacob being one of um, our customer, so just a nice picture of them, as we are using their profile. So, thanks, Jacob, for allowing us to do that. Um, so back to the point I was trying to make here is there's multiple things we are trying to accomplish with this request for code. One is this captures the information that an agent would need to run a code, and they can do that on their current system. But and our vision here is down the line is not only to just capture information to run a code, to request that code information, but also be able to feed that information instantly back through the chatbot for the customers. So we are working on that as well, and that would be something that we should be coming back soon. Back to you, Kapil.
Yeah. So when I click on the agent picture, I found that a message is automated generate at this chat screen. So which says I'm looking for auto quotes and detail of my vehicles are these, which we have filled earlier. So we don't have to write it down. It's we will take care of that. And the same request is sent to the agent portal also, which we talk about later. So back to the chatbot. So next thing which I want to bring up is to schedule a meeting with your agent. For example, I have some query and he is not online right now. So what I can do, I can schedule a meeting with my agent. So we will ask whether it's a personal meeting or it's a callback. So select the in-person meeting.
And I'll say this, this feature has been such a huge hit. Scheduling a meeting, as we all know, there are so many tools out there, whether it's Calendly or just using your Outlook, and we know it's a pain to set up meetings. We know it's a pain to go back and forth and trying to schedule a meeting. And even as an agent, if you're dealing with hundreds of customers, imagine the amount of hours it goes in on a weekly, monthly, and an annual basis. But when you're doing having a product like this, where it's a zero touch for an agent, and it takes barely 30 seconds for a client to set up a meeting with the agent. Imagine the kind of customer satisfaction this itself just brings in. The when for the first time we demoed this feature, the eyes of the client as well as agent just lightened up. Hey, this is so simple. I wish we had a tool like this. And it has been such a huge hit. And so I'll let Kapil continue on how quickly somebody on the app is able to just schedule a meeting with their agent.
So yeah, I'm going to select the date afterwards, and then it will ask for the time when you are going to. So let's say it's 5 p.m. and then it will ask for how long it will take. I say 30 minutes, and it will ask the agenda for that meeting. So that agent will already prepare about that. Let's say it's about the policy renewal. So meeting schedule request has been sent successfully to your agent. So that request has been successfully sent to the agent. Agent see that request in the agent portal, and He says, yes, I want to meet this insured. Push notification came here into this device. So
All right. So do you want to quickly show Kapil how it shows up on the agency portal side of things?
yeah, give me a minute. Let me open that up.
Yeah. So couple quick thing here, everyone on the webinar. What it does is it sends a meeting request to the agent, and it comes in on the agency portal. And the moment they just select yes, I accept this meeting, it sends another pop-up back to the customer where they know that the meeting confirmation is there, so they are able to accept that meeting. All right. Um, while we wait for Kapil to set this up, couple other things just want to bring you, just make sure we are doing good on time here. We will touch base on couple other use cases, and then we're gonna talk about a whole laundry list of several other features, or the capabilities that a chatbot has for independent agents. And then we're gonna take a few basic questions about how it can be used in your agency, and also talk about in a general sense how InsuredMine, with three of its core components, whether it's a chatbot, a mobile app, and an analytics portal, is able to help independent agents maximize their current book of business. So I'm gonna switch it to Kapil here as he's sharing his screen with the agency portal view.
Yeah, yeah. So, like I said, whenever we schedule a meeting or any request to the agent, it will create a notification over here. So here is the thing.
Awesome.
So you are able to see that there are notification which says in-person meeting request from Aditya Kumar on 16 November 2018. Accept the invitation to let user know. So if we reject, and it will automatically pop up with the two options, accept and reject. If we click on reject, notification sent to the mobile, like sorry, I'm not able to connect you at the time which you have scheduled. I will contact you later. And if I said accept, so yeah, I think we have to authenticate our email to this portal
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that
No, but at least
what
that
happens
gives
after that?
a fair understanding of how it is interacting between the mobile app and the agency portal in terms of a meeting request being sent and accepted. Perfect. Do you want to
Yeah.
couple quickly touch base on probably one more feature, and then we're gonna switch back to a larger discussion around chatbot?
Yeah. Just I want to show them how they can create automatic tasks on their portal. For example, there is a request which came from the insured about the quotes.
Okay.
So a new vehicle BMW has been added by us. So it's actually there are two notifications generated by mobile app. First one is that the customer added a new vehicle, so it will create a new opportunity. And the second one is Aditya Kumar using quotes for vehicle BMW. So it's a quote type of category. So once we click here, it will convert it into the task. And here all the tasks are aligned within their respective uh, status, which are open, in progress, pending, in done. So if you see, it will be in open. So here is the last one, if you are able to see. So here
Perfect.
is card automatically created, and, and I'm gonna click here, and it has all the information of the insured about that vehicle, and it contains all those activity features which is involved in this process.
Mhm. So we're gonna come back to
And
that,
in fact,
Kapil, in a bit. How this whole agency portal works in tandem with the mobile app and the chatbot in detail in probably next few
yeah,
minutes.
yeah.
Anything
So
specific
yeah,
touch base before we switch to a larger topic here?
no, I think I've done
Perfect.
with the chatbot functionalities, and you can take it
Thank you.
further.
Thank you.
Thanks a
Really
lot.
appreciate your walkthrough on these. This is really helpful to understand some of the core functionalities of what a chatbot is capable of delivering and how InsuredMine, with its development work, has been able to accomplish some of those. Next, what I want to touch base with the larger audience here is talk about. Um, Let me pull this presentation and talk about how InsuredMine and talk about 21 features that we mentioned we will. Let me know if you guys can see the full screen. Kapil, is the full screen viewable? Are you there, Kapil? All right. Give me one quick second. Just want to make sure we have, yeah, chatbot. All right. So as we touch base on several of these features, which is show my active policies or updating a document, adding a document, requesting a quote or schedule a meeting, and we went through the live demo of those. So let's now quickly touch base upon those 21 ways. And out of those 21, we have already touched upon almost 6 to 8 of those. There is several other things that we can do with this, whether it's about a policy change request or about just connecting with the agency to get a better understanding, or have a question that needs to be answered by one of the agents, or it's about trying to look into the premium or a coverage in an expired policy. Those informations are already available on the app of your previous policies, if you have been with the app for a while. So be able to dig a lot more information which is just available out there, um, through the chatbot that offers that kind of a feature. Whether it's about a premium distribution, and as Kapil was saying, we are not only able to make payments, but also
Yes,
be able. Mhm.
sorry for the interruption. Your screen is stuck here. It's not moving.
Okay. Let me let me try one more time here. Can you see the full screen now?
Yeah,
Perfect.
we are able to see the full window of the PowerPoint.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right, so these were some of the features that we're talking about. A couple other things into the mix that we are working on down the line would be available is about certificate of insurance, or able to get a policy endorsement with signatures, be able to provide that kind of an information to the clients is certainly we are looking to develop over the period of time. Now let's take a step back. I hope this was good information to understand from agency perspective what a chatbot is, what it can do, how industry perceives it, and where the industry is going with a chatbot. And knowing all that information, what do I need to do to be prepared for it, or what can I do to adopt it? And I think this contextual information should be really helpful. So we got another 13 minutes, and I'm going to take 5 or 7 minutes to talk a little bit about InsuredMine, and how it is helping agents build their relationship. So let me give a quick 30,000 feet overview of what we do, for who we do, and how we do it, and why. So it's primarily about redefining the user experience. And when I say a redefine user experience, the obvious answer is, we are talking about the policyholders or the clients. But, I think we take a much more holistic view on this. And we think it's about the agent as well. So redefining user experience for agent and insured, and that is done by power boosting any management system. So most of these agents have a management system, and without naming any, and they are leveraging that to a pretty good skills and capability. But there is much more that can be done with it, and that's what we do is power boost that management system with our agency portal, and then add the last mile connectivity. And as we were talking earlier, the last mile connectivity is basically the mobile app. And we are intrigued by the fact that now we take that one step further by saying not only add the last mile connectivity, we add the last mile automation, which is how do you make that communication automated with your clients? And and then the core question about doing all that is, why are you doing it? Is this will help you increase your customer retention, cross sales, and upsells, because you are impacting and influencing the customer experience, which is still in a very early stage of what they expect from insurance companies or agents, compared to what they are receiving today from some of the high tech companies like Apple's, Google, eBay, Amazon. So that is the whole idea, is how are we able to increase and lift that bar of what insurance experience can be about for a client. And that is happening, as I said earlier, is through the three core components, in an integrated way, which is through a mobile app, a chatbot, and an analytics powered CRM. In our previous webinar, as we have dived deep into how a mobile app is important in a client-based focus industry, primarily for the independent agent, and Aditya was one of our development lead who was talking and giving us a pretty good demo on that. And today, as we touched upon chatbot, and thanks Kapil for being able to educate us about everything it can do for independent agents, as well as for their clients. Similarly, next in our series of webinar is analytics, CRM, and automation, which we will be talking next month, on that, which is how agents are able to leverage or power boost their current management system to get much more out of it. And that's where we're going to touch base upon the agency portal. This is just a snapshot of a ton of feature that comes with agency portal, mobile app, or a chatbot. I'm not going to go into the detail of each of them, but as you have heard today from Kapil and me, on several of these chatbot functionality, whether it's about appointments, connecting with an agent, or request for quote, updating policies, or in our previous discussions on webinars on mobile app. So we will go much deeper on the similar features on the agency portal in our next webinar. So on this slide, you get a big picture perspective of how it all interplays, whether it's from a web perspective or an app perspective. And we are a strong believer that app is a component that cannot be ignored in the ecosystem, even if a lot of people are um, advocate of that, mobile optimized web is good enough. I think yes, it is good enough, but it is not at the expectation of clients. And we need to push that to a point where things that can only be delivered at an app level, and that is what we endorse, we encourage, and we believe is the right way to go. So that is a good mix on our ecosystem about an agent portal, a chatbot, and how it interacts with the customer portal and a mobile app for the customers. um, to learn more about InsuredMine, request a demo on our website on InsuredMine.com, and it is free for startup agencies. And it is always interesting to hear all these wonderful stories about the startup agents. Right before jumping on this webinar, I just got a call from one of the agents from Arkansas, and he heard about our program and called, say, "Hey, I'm interested in signing up." Say, let's wrap up on the webinar, and I'll give you a call to get that going with you. So it's always wonderful to be a part of that system and be able to support each other and encourage to do much more. With that, this is a wonderful wrap up to our presentation and what we are doing here at Insured Mind and how we are influencing customer experience, customer um, be able to do much more with the digital tools like a mobile app or a chatbot. Um, and always willing to learn more, do more with what is available. So with that, this is a closure to our what we are doing here. But if there are questions, more than happy to take those and answer any question you may have. Any quick questions? If not, that's where we wrap up, and I'll look forward to our next communication and on our next webinar, which will be about agency portal and how it is enhancing the capabilities of each and every agent by three core things to start with. One is how it is helping you segment your customers, and I think the word, we need to hammer that word pretty hard in our mind, because it is so important is to understand our customers by segmentation, because that is the mantra, that is the holy grail through which we should be able to do and get much more out of what we consider our current customer base. Because then we are able to customize our communication, we are able to adopt a more specific approach on what to ask, how to ask, and whom to ask, at what frequency to ask. So the whole customization based on the segmentation, and then able to build communication around it. So whole automation of how many times should we reach out to our customers, who should we reach out, and then the automation around emails, how do we filter our customer base to build the right kind of segmentations. Things like that we will be talking in depth in our next webinar. And feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions. We are always proactive to answer and learn from you, from the community. We are still a very young company, still trying to learn a lot more from each of you, so feel free to ask any question you may have. And thank you for your patience, and looking forward to hearing from you in our next webinar. Thank you.